what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. In this one, I've been seeing videos on YouTubers talking about the TV pastor Robert Morris, who got himself into some trouble, let's say, which I'm not surprised. But I'm not going to make this video to rattle on about him, because there's a lot of shit that on YouTube that I'm still going through about him, but I'm not surprised. I think pretty much like a scumbag. 12 years old yet, and not a good thing. I mean, he's just a reflection of so many different people that have been doing this, pastors all over the world, not just the Catholic Church. It's been other kind of religions that were going on with kids too, the Jehovah's Witnesses and all that. So the Robert Morris thing did inspire me to talk about this video. Yes, as a scumbag for doing this, and you can look up a lot of the YouTube videos too, but what I've seen so far, they were trying to make the victim sign a non-disclosure agreement. Say, okay, we're sorry this happened to you, but we're going to give you a few $1,000s or a few tens of thousands of dollars, but to get the money, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Other words, shut up and quit talking about it. Other words, if a church or group wants to do that, other words, they're admitting to the person's guilt. They want to cover for them. They're worried about their own organization getting embarrassed, settling out of court to prevent embarrassment, which is sickening. But anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about him other than my statements there. But I am here to tell you, I am here to tell you, some good things that you really should know, and mixture of that and things that I couldn't stand, everything from since my childhood, or even when you're older, when you when you were in churches, whether with family members or you went a few times yourself, like say when you were in your 20s. This is shit that you've seen since childhood or in your older going in churches did. From my opinion, you've seen this, and people shouldn't be doing this shit. It looks creepy. For example, I mean, you got people that's been acceptable. They like kids too much, whether it's little girls or even little boys, picking up and tickling and putting them on their laps and all kind of nonsense. Quite frankly, not that I'm acting like all kind of badass or anything, but would tell you the one thing that would actually make me punch somebody out or slam their head against the wall would probably be in the church. The thing that would make me quicker to hit somebody without trying to act like I'm more badass than I am. Say I had kids, young boy or a girl, and say I would warn them once, or maybe on a certain day, a hectic day, I'd just punch them out, because I can't stand that. Somebody touching my kid without permission. Oh, they like kids too much, touching and tickling my kid or grabbing them some kind of way, putting on the lap. For, I don't know, years, you could, not just decades, maybe even a couple centuries, that shit's been acceptable. A lot of us in our childhood, some of it looked a little creepy, looked scary to us, and we're older going to churches, and any time I did go to churches, I did go to a few in my 20s and all that, you see in this, how could anybody, it looks creepy if they like kids too much and they're touching somebody else's kid any kind of way. Or you got that uncle's friend or somebody come over some house, right? And maybe you're over somebody's house or something. You pick the scenario, and somebody that's not even related to the person, maybe they came over, see a kid laying on the floor, with a coloring book with their crayons, and some creepy dude ain't related to him grabs him, start tickling him some kind of way. That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird, and a lot of people let that shit go on. If it was my kid and it was in my house, or maybe it was in a church, I might just beat their stupid ass, and maybe I'd go to jail for assault. I don't care. Or if they were in a church, all right, I would grab them and punch the crap out of them, drag them drag them up to the altar of the church, slam them face down on the altar, and then take my belt off, and then just keep spanking them, or else not turn them over my knee. Drag them right on the damn altar of the church, and just take my belt and just keep spanking. I mean, and yeah, you'd probably see me make the paper. So I'm glad I don't have kids, because you know what? That's probably the one thing that I would get in trouble for. People need to quit doing that shit. And then people as parents, I don't care if you're in a church or not, you need to warn people touching your kids. Quit goddamn allowing that shit. And there's another thing too, which brings me back to some of these people. I don't care if it's Robert Morris or anybody, or even some pastors that you may even know to get in trouble. A red flag to me, you got to watch some pastors or youth people or anybody. If they're too quick to be giving people rides home or going places alone with anybody for any reason, say they're really quick and the ones that's always first to jump to do it. And some of them are married and have wives, especially if it's some girl. Their self-esteem are troubled. If you're actually a good preacher or somebody that wants to be a Christian and do something for God, right? In my opinion, this would be me if I was doing something. Say I did something for volunteer group or church or group. That last thing what I would want to do is go alone with somebody to help somebody out. I mean, bring somebody with you, or say my partner. Be around a bunch of people. I think in this day and age, it's not good for, like I said, it's a red flag, but at the same time, there are people that are good people, right? That are work in churches. And I like say, you don't know for your own safety. You don't know what kind of problems or issues somebody might have or something too. Because there is, drug issues. I mean, that there are people that do lie about that shit too. I mean, that shit does happen. So you don't want to see that happen to good people either. But just the fact that it goes on, and then, people will say shit. Some other adult will say, look, he's going over there with so-and-so right by themselves. They say they don't like you or something, and they'll go and say that shit. So some of the good people out there should have common sense, with good, have somebody with you. Don't go alone with any damn buddy or anybody's kid or anything, you know what I mean? Even though I'm not saying that happens all the time, but yeah, you get some people, or you get a grown adult women over some, they'll have some kind of damn, what do you call it, problem with somebody and go and lie too, you know what I mean? But definitely not saying these other people like these preachers are lying, but I'm just saying, good people out there should want to protect themselves from anything that, anything that looks like anything, because people inside a church and outside a church both have filthy minds. Just because people go in a church, say you can be standing next to somebody that's an adult, that's a woman, somebody else's wife, talking about this or that in some room somewhere, or somewhere like that, away from people. But people inside a church actually have filthy minds too. They're a totally different person outside there. So even out there in the world, you got to watch your association be. You don't want to be going around somewhere if you know, like, any of your friends or whatever, your good friends, dudes that are friends of yours or whatever, going over there when their wife's just there and you know that they ain't there. And people do that shit too. And even though you're not like that, if you're actually a true Christian, a person of God, you should want to avoid what things look like. But what happens, these bad people, right, they do the opposite. They think everybody trusts them. So the red flag is they're jumping at every single opportunity. They'll go over that single mother's house without the wife there. Oh, no, you stay there. I'll go. And then the wife, you know what I mean? There's people out there that pretended to be people of God, and they're always the first one jumping whether that's single mother or being alone with somebody's kid. That's how that shit happens, you know what I mean? And, back in the day, nobody did nothing about that shit. They kept it all secret and all that stuff too. I mean, shit like that has been going on for centuries. But I mean, these preachers on TV that got caught doing that shit, all kind of bad shit. These are only the ones that they've caught. I mean, it's quite disturbing. And so, yeah, the ones that have bad intentions, they're always, not to be repetitive, they're always the ones jumping the opportunity, give somebody's kid a ride home. Them are the ones you got to watch. And the ones that are always going up, oh, they like kids too much. They're touching somebody else's kids without the parents' permission, touching and tickling them. Them ones, red flag. Yes, you have a right to punch them in their damn face right in the church. Or at least warn them one time. Say, you touch my kid again, I'm knocking your ass out. Do you know what I mean? And there's also good people that know that shit's going on. And they have, even though they have good intentions, they have the right, or they should have the sense to avoid anything that looks like something, especially world's full of people with filthy minds. And even people inside the church have filthy minds as it is. And there are bad people inside a church anyway. And you could be a good person in the church too, and somebody can be looking for a red flag that isn't there as it is. And, well, they see plenty of stuff that goes on, you know what I mean? And again, that's just me, but yeah, I think that's just a little bit of everything. I give you a combination of like a few things. But anyway, to end this, like these people that do this, whether it's Robert Morris or a list of a whole bunch of other people, and the ones that fly around in fancy airplanes and they're on the stage and have fancy cars, everybody claps to everything they say, like trained baby seals, and they're getting all this money or whatever. That's material for another video. But yep, yeah, a few of them were caught with prostitutes or caught raping kids or coercing kids into those situations and all that, and outright scumbags using their social, political power, if you will, to commit some very disgusting misdeeds and thinking they're going to get away with it. And I think some of society there is slowly starting to get tired of it. But